So you might be wondering why I'm dressed as Kakashi Sensei. Well, we're gonna be talking about time management today, and discipline is a huge part of it. So I'm dressed like a ninja, but yeah, let's talk about time management. So most video I see on YouTube talking about this matter are from students who are pretty much just solely focused on studying, and it has very little to do with the real life because, you know, in school you're given the syllabus and you're told exactly what to do, you just kind of need to execute. Whereas especially if you're trying to carve your own path in life, you're not really given like a to-dos list and like assignments of how to get yourself from A to B. It's more like, hey, where is your B? And now you have to just figure out the road to B, right? So very few people are able to give solid insight into time management, especially when it comes to juggling multiple things. So yeah, man, let's talk about it. I'll show you the systems I have right now for time management, and I'll show you the systems that work for me, and more importantly, how I actually set my tasks and projects and how I actually manage those to actually complete those projects on time following very strict deadlines. So yeah, when it comes to goal setting and actually giving yourself the tasks to do, this is probably the hardest part of time management, right? As Einstein once said, if I had 1 hour to solve a problem, I'd spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem and then 5 minutes thinking about the solutions. Because what most people do is they become really busy through time management and they just manage their time to make themselves really busy, but what happens at the end of the day is they never get anything done, right? They're not very productive. When it comes to actually setting the tasks that you need to achieve, you need to first of all be able to identify those quickly and also not just get paralyzed in the process, right? And then just end up writing a bunch of recurring tasks like go shopping and cook food and do this, all this other crap, right? So I present to you my framework for time management, and essentially I manage my time at 3 different levels. So the monthly view, the weekly view, and then the daily view. When it comes to the monthly views, essentially I set macro goals for myself for that specific month. Eventually I'll probably have like quarterly projects and then also yearly projects as well. But essentially how macro goals for the month works is I kind of like try to think about where my yearly goals roughly are and then just break it down into bigger projects I can accomplish over the months and then just execute them until, I guess, it finishes. It's completed, right? So normally when it comes to me planning my months, it looks like I generally give myself 3 to 5 big projects to complete within that month. And sometimes it can be kind of just recurring tasks like client acquisition, in which case I would just like work it into my day and do it on a daily basis, just like going to the gym. Whereas other projects, for example, back in February, I was actually working on my mentorship program, which I decided to close down just because, you know, it wasn't really a positive ROI for my time and I didn't really want to charge insane rates for it. But yeah, then I have the weekly view, which basically is I plan out my week ahead of time. So at the end of every week, I would plan out the next week in terms of, hey, on Monday, I'm going to do this, Tuesday, do this, Wednesday, do this, and so on. And I also take that time to actually reflect on my day. This is not too complicated, right? The monthly thing and the weekly thing is not too complicated, but the daily is where it really kind of gets a bit more nuanced. So I'm gonna jump into a screen share and I'll draw exactly what I mean, and I'll show you exactly how I actually manage my time. By the way, just a quick note, I do everything on pen and paper. I know I'm holding a pencil, roast me in the comments if you want. I do everything on pen and paper, and the benefit of that is if you do everything digitally, like in the beginning of the year for about 2 months, I was completely digital in terms of using a Notion board to track all of my activities. The problem with that was I would need to actually check my phone if I'm out to make sure I'm not missing any deadlines for myself, or just switch on my iPad at like random times throughout the day, or just pull up Notion on my laptop. And this was a huge distraction, especially when it comes to checking Notion on my phone, because I would, you know, open my phone and then just suddenly see like 5 different notifications from people trying to message me, and then 3 more emails that I need to attend to and things like that. And it's just a huge distraction, because even if you're able to resist the urge of, I don't know, replying to your best friend or whatever, that's still kind of like dominating that piece of your headspace, which is why I keep everything like this just completely on pen and paper now. Let's jump into a Loom and I'll show you exactly what my time management process looks like now. So I present you my framework for time management. So essentially how it works is I manage my time right now currently on 3 levels. So there's level 1, which is the monthly view. So month, excuse my bad handwriting, my iPad's on the charger. There's the weekly view, and then there is the daily, right? So at this point I've tried probably close to like 10 time management systems, like, I don't know, like scheduling systems or whatever, this is by far the most effective. So before, what I used to do was I used to just journal and then plan out the day ahead. But what I found was that gave me very little direction when it comes to just understanding exactly what I need to do day to day, week to week, month to month, right? So eventually, obviously, I'll probably have like quarterly goals and then yearly goals as well. But right now, I find operating on a monthly basis works the best for me at the moment. How does this work? Well, at the beginning of every single month, I have a few activities that I do. Not only do I reflect on my month, so reflections, but also I just plan out the month ahead. And what does this actually entail? Well, first of all, I would block out the times on, let's say, for example, if I know I'm traveling, or if I know I'm on holiday, or if I know I'm taking some sort of hiatus that month, I would always block that out to make sure that I know that, you know, I'm not going to be working on those days. And then from there, I will be setting myself the right goals, setting the right tasks. So the book that I'm reading right now is called Atomic Habits, and apparently you shouldn't actually set yourself goals. But anyways, I'm gonna call it tasks for now, right? So every month I actually give myself a few projects to accomplish. Now, these projects are more like action based as opposed to results driven. So for example, I would never say sign 5 clients. I would say do 400 outreach, for example, something along those lines. Or maybe, for example, in the month of February, one of my biggest tasks was to actually build out my own mentorship program. And that took quite a substantial part of my time that month, but I ended up actually just scrapping my mentorship program in total, just because it wasn't a very good ROI on my time. But anyways, so, you know, I set the task for the month, and these are big projects, right? These are projects that are supposed to take you a week, 2 weeks to finish. It's not like a quick one-off thing where it's like send, I don't know, like 50 looms or something like that, right? And next is the weekly view. So again, same as the month, at the end of every week, I reflect on the previous week, and then I also plan out the week ahead. How I plan out my week ahead is normally I give myself, I take a project from the month, right? So one of the big projects, and I break down the big project into tasks. So these big tasks are essentially parts of the project that I need to complete in order to drive this project forward. So for example, if my goal that month was to outsource outreach completely and outsource appointment setting, one of the biggest tasks would be actually hiring an appointment setter, and then the next biggest task would be creating like a training program for that person, and then actually taking them through a training program, and then actually monitoring their performance over a given period of time. So that would be like a big task, right? And you would need to break that big task down over the period of the month, or let's say just that specific week. So you'd break that down and then you just go ahead and execute. So the way I actually plan out my day specifically is I would like block out the meetings, the times that I would have meetings that week, and then I would actually go in and put in my bigger tasks on the days where I have like less meetings and less kind of just face-to-face interactions, because I find that to be more beneficial to my focus. When it comes to the daily view, I plan day ahead the night before. Real simple. And what I do is I make sure that every 30 minutes of my day is accountable. So what I mean by that is I used to just kind of like set myself like a small to-dos list and just try to get those done. But what I found was I actually procrastinated, and there was a lot of just inefficiencies throughout the day. How I was able to work this out was by literally just making sure, fuck. Anyways, so my main camera died. We're just gonna carry on without a webcam. Don't worry about it. So how I actually managed to overcome my procrastination and just me going off track for the most part of the day was actually just to make sure that every 30 minutes of my day is actually blocked out and doing something productive. So how I manage this is the way I would plan it out. It would be like there's like a chart, right? So just imagine every space here being like a 30 minutes. And then I would say I would wake up at this time, wake up plus routine. And now, to be honest, I have my routine down to a very simple thing. It takes about an hour, including like just getting dressed and everything else in between. And then, you know, I would block out any calls I may have. So if it's like a consulting session, or I don't know, like a strategy call with a client, strategy, or maybe like a discovery call later down here, right? Discovery. And then I look at all of the gaps and then I actually fill it with the activities I planned for myself in this part of the week. So every Sunday I would tell myself exactly what are the big tasks that I would be accomplishing for the week, and then I would just kind of fit them in to the point where between my working hours of like 8 a.m. to about 8 p.m. there's literally 0 gaps. Either even if I'm like calling a friend or socializing or going to the gym, it's something. I don't let myself have a gap, because what you find is when you have momentum in the day, it's actually very easy to get a lot done. However, as soon as you lose that momentum by either going on TikTok or just feeling like you don't have anything to do, for example, you tell yourself, oh, you know, my next call isn't until 3 p.m. in the afternoon and I have nothing to do for the next half an hour. And then you default to maybe watching Netflix or something along those lines. And this way, the problem with this is you actually lose that momentum that you've built up completely. And after let's say you have like a consulting session where you're giving your client your all in terms of your energy, you feel really drained afterwards and you just don't want to carry on. And because you had already lost that momentum, you basically are just trying to rely purely on willpower to carry on. And this is very problematic because willpower just, it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. So I hope you found some benefit in this, and the way I kind of do this is just with pen and paper. And the reason why I don't use Notion anymore is just because I don't want to be pulling out my phone every 20 minutes to check on what I need to do next, because just by virtue of me pulling out my phone is like a distraction in and of itself. So yeah, do it on pen and paper, highly recommend it. Digital just isn't great, to be honest. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I know this might have been a bit of a drag, but I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions or if you feel like you have any better systems that you implement, feel free to let me know in the comments below, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.